team, and that's for real. Oh, you said something? When they kick off, he gon' kneel. I don't wanna hear none if it ain't about the bills. We'll be running out the tunnel, better stay up on your heels. We might leave your ankles on the field, put you on the rail. How you feel? Feel the watch the sweep just like a broom. Hail Mary, and put his GM in a tomb. Make some room, call it timeout, cause they not ready. Think they feeling all the pressure, cause they know I apply it heavy. Try to cover one-on-one, my cuss gon' be too deadly. Have him watching all that film while he snuggling on his teddy. Man, who let me step up in the game with a mindset of making sure I'm heard? I'm pointed tenant, it ain't time yet. When it is, I bet you know, don't fix your legs to come around me. If you acting all scary in the snow, oh, you said something? Tell your homie better chill.
Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports concepts, events with first-to-market odds and lines. Now, find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. Bet Online continues to be the top online resource for all sports information, from live in-game betting props and futures. Head to Bet Online today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Now, use our promo code BLEAV50 to receive your 50%. Welcome your bonus on your first deposit. Now, Bet Online is where the game starts.
Why am I muted? I don't know what that was about, but I'm sorry, guys. Welcome to another episode of Believe in Bills podcast. I'm Justice General Rafford, and I'm joined by, as always, legend in 2 games, no Pee-wee, championship coach Mookie Hawkins, and Batavia Daily's own AJ Cybulski. Did I like?
You got the last name right. Didn't have to talk about the pre-show either.
All right, cool. All right, so we're getting comfortable. All right, dope. So of course we got AJ with us again today to talk about the absolute epic comeback that the Buffalo Bills had at the back end of the season, starting off 5-5, getting to 6-6, beating a couple good teams on the way. 5-game winning streak en route to winning the AFC East divisional title for the 4th year in a row. And for their efforts, they get a 2 seed and they get to host the Pittsburgh Steelers next Sunday at 1 p.m. And so it'll be very, very interesting. So, Coach, looking at the season as a whole, what would you grade this entire regular season overall?
The Bills?
Yeah.
The Bills grade, the overall grade. I'll give it a B plus. I'll give it a B plus. I mean, for what they had to overcome, and I talked to Coach. I asked him a question about that. With the emotion that he showed on the Sal interview, and all that stuff takes its toll. Like head coach, defensive coordinator, half your defense go down early in the season. A coaching change, a personal attack on your character. You know what I mean? And now your team is backs are against the wall. You know what I mean? At 6-6, and you do the unthinkable. And here it is. You're not even considered being a coach of the year candidate. Yeah, and you're a 2 seed. So, yeah, I give them a B plus for that.
B plus. I feel like that's fair. I mean, you get the 2 seed. You're the second best team in the entire conference, and again, it's been proven almost as a fact that the AFC is stronger than the NFC, just due to the fact that the top AFC teams have demolished the top NFC teams. So, AJ, overall, this span the whole sum of the entire season, what would you give your Bills a grade?
Yeah, I would probably go the same direction, B plus, A minus. Like Mookie said, the injuries they faced, you go to London, coming off an emotional high after beating the Dolphins to kind of set the tone for the season. Then you lose Daquan Jones and Matt Milano in the same play. And then it kind of went down the hill from there a little bit. Like you said, Justice 5-5, 6-6. They were at a lot of 5 straight again. They've done that the last 4 years. They've had this tough NFC loss in 2020. The last year was the Vikings game. 2021 was the Bucs game. And I forget exactly what in 2020, but they've rattled off these win streaks at the end of the year. So this is a team that has done this now. consistently the past couple of years. Now the question is, can they finish? So that's the question we're going to have to start asking ourselves, as we get into this playoff stretch here. But so far in this regular season, a very accomplished Buffalo Bills team with Sean McDermott leading the way.
All right, so let's take it week by week. Then you take it back to when they faced who was it? They fired Ken Dorsey, and then they faced the Jets. After that, they beat the Jets. You lose to the Eagles, but you don't lose in like the worst way possible, right? I mean, you do lose in the worst way possible, but not in the sense that you perform badly. You perform well. It's just that the perfect mixture of the perfect storm happened to where you lost that game, but then you rattle off 5 in a row. So they've shown that they can finish, especially when they need it most. They've proven that they can get to it and do it. Do you think they'll be able to do it for 4 more games?
I think that it is possible. They showed, I think, from week 2 to week 4 or 5 week 2 to week 4 that they can put a stretch together where they dominate football teams. I will say if they get in their own way, that's really and they've shown that that's the team kind of they are at this point. So if they can string together 3-4 games of playing their best football, executing, not taking penalties, not James Cook with the drop yesterday. You had just a lot of miscues, Josh Allen turnovers. If they can clean that up, yes, they can beat anybody in the AFC. They should. Again, you have the Steelers at home, a team that they're going to be feisty. Like, it's not going to be a walk in the park. I think that they're a team that focuses on Jalen Warren, Najee Harris. You're going to have to stop those guys. They got George Pickens on the outside, who, again, you're going to have to focus on. So it's not going to be a walk in the park for the Bills this weekend. Do I think they win? Yes. But every game, 1 week at a time, like the locker room reiterates all the time, 1 week, and that's all that matters. So, yeah, they're easily a top. They have the 3rd best Super Bowl odds. So, yeah. They're up there.
Yeah, for sure. Coach, going into this playoff game against Pittsburgh, you look at Pitt and you can look at their offense, especially against the Bills defense. They have a very good defense who have performed very, very at a very high level. So the game plan theoretically is probably going to be stack the box, stop Najee Harris, make Mason Rudolph throw the football, get after him with your with your pass rushers. Hopefully you can do all that because not only are you stopping Najee Harris, but your offense is putting points on the board. So I ask you, championship coach Mookie Hawkins, what is the Buffalo Bills game plan offensively going into this game against Pittsburgh and their specific defense, albeit maybe without TJ Watt?
What the game plan has been all season. We're going to put this team on JA-17 and, lay the chips fall where they lay. I mean, especially after the performances last night. I mean, okay, this is Josh makeup this season. This is his makeup. All right, he might have some, he's going to throw a few picks. But if he can overcome those like he did yesterday, then so be it. All right, he's a football player. He's not perfect by any means. I mean, Patrick Mahomes threw, a lot of interceptions, and he won the Super Bowl last year too. So I'm just over that when everybody's just talking about Josh Allen and they're just talking about just him just turning over the ball. I'm just over that at that point. The guy completed 80% of his passes yesterday, 360 yards, the Danner ran for 70 more. So, that's what it's going to be. And if they continue that, they had great balance yesterday, 38 passing attempts to 37 rushes. If they can have that type of balance, they'll be unbeatable. Like if they played that the way they just all of a sudden that 4th quarter, they just snapped and just start playing like a Super Bowl team. If they can do that for 4 quarters, it's not a team in the NFL that could stand up to that team. And let's not forget, last year, this team was a Super Bowl favorite. It's the same team. Even better if you look at the pieces that they brought in. Yeah. So it's just finally starting to click. It's finally starting to gel. Let's not forget it was a coaching change too. So now that's like that slows the process down a little bit. So, all that goes into it. But again, the remnants of having, that type of team is just finally playing to its potential. So, yeah, it's going to rest on Josh Allen. This thing is going on Josh Allen's shoulders for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring up a great point, actually. And AJ, I kind of want to get your thoughts on this. Looking at Josh's play yesterday, what would you rate his play like overall? Like, I know I figure some people skew He tried his best to give the game away. I've heard people skew that he had this amazing game. Like, what's your overall thoughts on the game, his particular game?
It was definitely an ugly first half for Josh, but again, if you look at the stats, it was just a couple plays. On the second interception, do I really have a problem with it? Probably not, because they ended up getting the worst field position, the Dolphins, worst field position out of it. So again, it was a fadeaway throw, and obviously the next drive he has the same fadeaway throw, and it's completed the dig. So again, you live and die with Josh Allen. And in this first half, I said this, they looked like they were dead, and a lot of people were counting them out, but they came back to life. Josh Allen was the leader of that, and again, Sean McDermott's defense. I mean, 14 points against the Miami Dolphins. I know they only average 18 around going into this one against above 500 teams. So they're not a really dynamic offense against these above 500 teams this year, but still to stop the Dolphins like that, a team that scores the most points in football. Again, it's a balancing act, but yeah, Josh Allen here again, did enough. He again had a great game overall, ran the ball really well. That 3rd and 13 run. I mean, just that's the Josh Allen experience, man. He can throw a fadeaway miscommunication to Gabe Davis in the first quarter, and you're like, what the heck? And then at the end of the game, up 7, he gets the first down using his legs on a 3rd and 13 that not probably one or two other quarterbacks could do.
Yeah, I have to say that as the as the resident Josh apologist here, looking at that game overall, I absolutely think Josh played fantastic. I mean, you can look at the first half, and I can understand where you could say it was a bad first half, but I really think it was just like really, really bad. Like the first interception is bad, right? 0 blitz, pressure. You thought Gabe was going to do something, he did something else, and so that's just another miscommunication between him and Gabe Davis. We've seen that before, right? And then the second interception, it's a punt, basically. Like, I mean, if he's doing that on 3rd and 2, all right, no. But on 4th and 2, like, all right, I'd rather them get it at their own 20 than their own 45. And then the fumble, like, your rookie guard just got beat by an All-Pro. That's all it was. He was 1-on-1 with an All-Pro and got beat. Like, it happens. You can't. It happens. The guy's an All-Pro for a reason. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the league, and he made an amazing play. So
it was Osiris' first sack given up. Probably, I think. I don't think that was.
He don't give up too many. That's for sure.
If it wasn't one, it's got to be 2. I mean, he haven't gave the Bills only gave up 10 sacks all year.
Yeah. So I look at the turnovers and I say they came at really, really bad times, and it got to a point where it was frustrating. But like you look at it, he throws a dime piece to James Cook there in the end zone, falls incomplete. Right? He throws a dime piece to the post. It could have scored. Helmet to helmet hit for sure should have been called, but it wasn't. And excuse me, if that safety isn't hot, then that is a touchdown. And so, I don't think he necessarily played bad. And then the second half, again, it was just like more bad luck, right? There's a reason he had 400 total yards by himself, and they only scored 21 points, and 7 of them came off the special teams, right? So they were moving the ball without an issue. It's just they couldn't finish and capitalize, and really that's been like the Bills' biggest issue is just finishing, capitalizing. They always have, just shoot themselves in the foot for whatever reason.
Now, you know why? Because we get inside the red zone and we only run the ball one time. And if they don't score, they're passing the rest of the way. That's why they don't stick with the run inside the red. If they stick with the run inside the red, they have better chances. And now you can use your play action because you done ran the ball. It's on film. If it's not on film, this is what it is. Analytically, this is how the Bills are losing games analytically because the numbers don't line with the Bills. I don't need analytics to tell me that they only run the ball one time inside
the eye test to tell you. Yeah.
It's slim to none. They double up like that inside the red. Then they got to figure out the tush push because it seemed like to me that the Dolphins was way in the neutral zone, and they didn't even call it. But just line up empty and let Josh just run for an inch. Like, I never really get that. Like, okay, you're being predictable, letting us know that we're packing it in and we're going to try to push the quarterback. You're not going to make it all the time, So just getting a regular set and just let Josh just fight forward.
Well, we'll see what happens. So the Buffalo Bills, they did get the W. Looking at this Pittsburgh team for next week, AJ, what is something that scares you most about them that, maybe, because I'm sure we all feel pretty good about the Bills getting this W, but, something that might keep you up at night?
Yeah, so like you said, Justice, earlier, the Bills have been a team this year that have every week when they drop a game, let's say they lost this Dolphins game, you would have said, man, there was just a couple plays that didn't go their way, right? And I feel like every week, you keep saying that and you think, oh, that's like use it as like fans use it as an excuse to like, oh, but a couple different plays went their way. This was the different outcome, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is when it happens over and over again, that's when it's like, is this kind of just the team they are? And I'm not saying they do it every game, but that is a worry is will the Bills beat themselves? You also, again, you have to watch out for Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. They've had explosive plays the past few weeks with Mason Rudolph, and they can take the top off an offense. They're explosive. They took a couple quick slants to the house. Keep everything in front of you. The screen game with Jalen Warren is going to be huge. You're going to have to, the Bills do struggle with the screen game sometimes. So being able to, tackle an open space on Jalen Warren is going to be huge as well. And then on offense, just not shooting yourself in the foot. If you can do that, I think it could be a possession game. Don't be like super aggressive, but don't be super conservative. If you want to play field position, take time off the clock, all that stuff. So I want a heavy balance pass run. I want James Cook to be used, and I also want these long sustained drives. And if you have to punt or you have to take 3 points, take them because it's the Pittsburgh Steelers offense we're talking about, and you should have full trust in your defense to get the stops throughout the game and, make this a easier win for the Bills in a playoff matchup.
Yeah, to your point, we know that Pittsburgh Steelers wide receivers love making the most spectacular catches they've ever had in their entire career against Bills cornerbacks. So hopefully we don't get too much of that this weekend. Coach, what about you? Anything about the Steelers that particularly worries you?
Mike Tomlin. That's a guy. I mean, here is a guy that has never finished 500 under 500 in his career for one, and again, he's doing more with less. So, the way that he has this team playing right now, let's not forget, even though it was preseason, they really beat the Bills bad. That was a bad preseason loss. So that scares me. Is it the same scheme that this is the success we had? Remember, Warren just ran crazy against the Bills, in that preseason game. So that's tape. So are they doing the base? Are they base is still that base, but now we're just doing it with our starters, but different quarterback. But again, you're probably most experienced quarterback you have, in Mason Rudolph. So, yeah, that kind of scares me because they can play a basic game. Thank God TJ Watt won't play, but they can be basic offensively and still find some success, against this Bills defense because, they can slow the game down with running the ball with Najee Harris and then using the play action to find Johnson or Pickens there. And then, like you said, Jalen Warren in the screen game. So they have some pieces that can make you pay if you're not, on your A game.
Absolutely, 100%. What about the Bills for you, AJ? What's their best point of attack against the Steelers?
Yeah, I think it's just a healthy balance of James Cook, Josh Allen. Utilize both their legs. We'll see about Ty Johnson if he's able to play. He's suffered the concussion, so that'll be a question mark. But whoever suits up the running back room, I just want to see a balanced attack. I want to see the Bills just finish drives. They're the best team in the red zone coming into the Dolphins game. They had blunders and, again, some bad decision-making and miscommunication. But I just want to see the Bills have a healthy balance, utilize the tight ends, running backs, kind of what they've been doing with Joe Brady. Just I want a team effort. I want a balanced effort. And if they do that and limit the turnovers, limit the mistakes, limit the penalties, they should have no problem having success and scoring enough points to get the win against the Steelers offense that I think Sean McDermott and the Bills defense will have their success against.
Yeah. All right, so next I got a fan question for Mookie, somewhat or supporter question. Someone from Twitter asked me to ask you a question. They wanted to know what the Bills like atmosphere, what the locker room atmosphere was like, talking to the coaches and the players after, rallying to win the division title.
I mean, you didn't see it out there?
No, no, I
Did you?
no,
I just, I
mean,
mean, is first of all, I told you the locker room always been fine. It's a close knit locker room. It's a relaxed locker room. The guys are in there loose, and they're pros, right? So they understand when you're pegged to be a Super Bowl type of team. I mean, everybody's good. It's just when it's really going to kick in. So they know what type of team they have, and you've seen it. I mean, they took it one game at a time, one game at a time, one game at a time. Ugly blowout, ugly blowout. No matter what, they won 5 straight when everybody counted them out, 6-6. But they believed in each other, so it was sweet in the locker room last night. You saw Diggs raw in a cut go over to Sean McDermott, hug him, and say, "I love you, coach." You saw Stephon Diggs go over to Josh Allen, and they so silly them two. They always doing something crazy, right? But that just if you really look at it for really what it was, it should answer all your questions on was there friction between Diggs and Allen and coaching. Stephon Diggs put that on clear display, So everybody was
but
jubilant. I mean,
it,
you got them dancing with
with
McDermott in the
McDermott.
locker.
It seemed like Diggs always puts it on display that he enjoys being here in Buffalo. He's like playing catch with the fans. He's giving out souvenirs. He's changing kids' lives and whatnot. He's hugging on his quarterback, hugging on his head coach. But this narrative still persists that Stephon Diggs is just unhappy and doesn't want to be here, and that he's gonna be traded. I don't know if people know just how expensive that would be. So I think if they did, they would know that there ain't no way that's gonna happen. But why do y'all think this narrative like persists? So I feel like he really okay. He plays in Minnesota, right? And they decide, all right, we're gonna go forward and we're just gonna run the ball more. And he's like, no, I don't want to play for a system like that. I want out. All right, cool. I'm in Buffalo now. Hasn't had a problem since. The only issue he had last season was saying expected more from his offense that everybody else in the nation expected more from. So it's like, why is that an issue? You know what I mean? That's my personal thoughts on it. AJ, what about your thoughts on this Stephon Diggs narrative?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of revisionist history. I think that a lot of people look back at how he handled Minnesota and some disagree with how he handled it. Then you fast forward to 2022, combining the Bills' inability to succeed in the playoffs with Stephon Diggs' frustration. They try to put two and two together and say that, well, the Bills can't win anything because they never have. Stephon Diggs is, he is who he is from Minnesota, and he's not going to change his ways. So I think that's kind of the way they looked at it. I will say I was curious this year, coming into a year where, the minicamp stuff happened and the reaction on the sideline that was kind of overblown. I think it was just an emotional, instance where Diggs was upset losing at 27-10 at home against Cincinnati with a team that he felt like they had all the pieces, the right coaching staff, all that stuff. I was curious to see how he would respond to adversity this year. And I think he's handled it better than I thought. He's come out, he's done, everything the right way. I think he's totally bought in. And that's something I was questioning. Like if the Bills, they were 6-6, they did face that adversity. Me and Joe Marino talked about it prior to the season. It's all fine now, but what happens when the Bills hit adversity this year? Will Stephon Diggs, stay with the pack, be the leader he is, or will he kind of start? And you know what he did? He was a leader. He's been a leader. I think even with a reduced snap count, he's still totally bought in. And last night he was on the field for around 88% of the snaps. So Stephon Diggs, great game. He's been a great leader this year. And I think he's proved a lot of people that I think subconsciously might have questioned if the Bill season didn't go perfect this year, how would he handle it? And I think he's handled it in the best way possible.
Yeah, I agree. Man, after what happened with DeMar last season, and then them thinking that they had to go back onto that field, and watching Diggs try to hype up his brothers to go on the field after like witnessing one of them like literally die. I feel like that should have silenced everything.
Teams in this league. It's time to go out there and play like it consistently. And if they do that, they'll be in the Super Bowl. We'll see you in Vegas.
Yeah, just two things. First thing is that I just wanted to shout out Trent Sherfield, Deontay Hardy, Taylor Rapp, 3 offseason signings that have had, I would say, an underperforming season. And I'm not going to say that last night like overdid that. I think they still haven't like lived up to what they. I mean, I guess Trent Sherfield and Rapp are kind of more of a $1.7 million minimum deal. But you look at Deontay Hardy, just an impact play for a guy that a lot of people questioned. And again, he's not going to be the impact on offense that we thought he would be, but he still made a big play in a big moment. So I just wanted to shout them out. And like Mookie said, you have an opportunity in front of you. You're 0-0. It doesn't matter how you get it done. And it starts in Pittsburgh this week. And look, if you get an upset with the Dolphins over the Chiefs, then you're hosting the winner of the Browns Texans games. And if not, you got the Chiefs at home. So either way, looking down the stretch here, I'm going to say this right now. It's the most no Joe Burrow in the Bengals in this year. Patrick Mahomes has no Tyreek Hill, and I think they're struggling a little bit. This, for me, is the best path for the Buffalo Bills to make a Super Bowl run in the Sean McDermott and Josh Allen era.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point, AJ. All those quarterbacks that are injured. Mahomes does not have the superpower offense that he is typically used to having. I mean, Lamar and the Ravens look like the biggest threat in.
They ain't getting off.
Yeah, I don't feel like they walking through the AFC by any stretch of the imagination. I'm gonna be honest with you. I could see an AFC Championship game playing in Buffalo, with whoever that may be. So we'll see. But hey, we gotta go week by week, right?
Yep.
The start with this Sunday at Pittsburgh. Buffalo Bills take on Pittsburgh Steelers. They made the playoffs. 2 seed. They're the big dogs. This upcoming weekend, they're the big dogs no matter what. So we'll see what happens. That'll do it for us here at BLEAV in Bills. Justice Radford, Mookie, AJ. Coach, go ahead and send us out, man.
New season, bigger prize. Do you believe? Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports contests and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Now, find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. Bet Online continues to be the top online resource for all sports information, from live in-game betting props and futures. Head to Bet Online today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Now, use our promo code BLEAV50 to receive your 50%. Welcome your bonus on your first deposit. Now, Bet Online is where the game starts.
Tell your homie better chill. He don't ride how we ride for our team.